Music and entertainment are critical in everyone's well-being. It can actually change your mood, and that's what we're looking for, is that opportunity to embrace that. Noteworthy is a talk show where I get to have conversations with some of my favorite people. I get to find out what drives them and what is their passion. These are their noteworthy stories.
All right, it is Friday, February 19th, and this is the perfect example of the show must go on. We're talking health and wellness in the middle of not only a pandemic, but power outages, no water, all of the crazy things that we've been experiencing across the country this week. We also have special guest Katie Riggs. Angela Pelk is back from vacation. Jim is with us as well. So much more on today's episode. Let's get started.
Welcome to your Healthy by Association Weekly Wellness Check with Erin Wolowick, Angela Pelk, and Jim Thompson.
All right, welcome everyone. This is Healthy by Association. My name is Erin Wolowick. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I think, question mark, ... Even that opening was rough. Good grief. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. Let's first turn to our guest this week, our special guest joining us from her car in what I assume is her driveway, Katie Riggs. Welcome to the show.
Hi there. How is everyone today?
Oh man, well, we'll get into that, I guess, here in just a little bit. I was just thinking about, it's like health and wellness. I was like, how about like just our own like mental health? We'll talk a little bit about what some of us have been experiencing over the course of the past week with the weather, the power outages, the water outages, the flooded kitchens, and yet, our health and wellness is still an important priority in and among all of those things. So we'll jump into that here in a minute. But Katie, for those of us that are watching that don't know you yet, maybe tell us a little bit about who you are and maybe your connection to health and wellness.
Sure. So I'm Katie Riggs. I'm the chief event designer at Riggs & Co. So I have my own event strategy firm here in Indianapolis, Indiana. So we are in the frozen tundra of the Northeast right now. I have a lifelong passion for health, wellness, fitness. So I was an athlete all growing up, and then just after graduating high school and all through college, just continued that journey. And now as a mom of two, I really try to share that journey of fitness with my family and making sure that I'm setting a good example for them. So I have actually been on a streak since December 27th. I haven't not taken a day off from working out for at least 30 minutes since December 27th. And I'm extremely passionate about it. What you put in your body, what you do with your body, and knowing that that's important for life longevity and having a life worth living when we're older.
That's awesome. So we're just sort of like, it's important for us all to get real this week, like what's going on in our like backyards. Obviously you're joining from your car, so without, with sharing as much as you want, maybe tell us a little bit about like what's going on in your neck of the woods and how's that affecting sort of your connection with health and wellness this week?
Sure. Obviously, we are fortunate to be in what I call a snow state where we're fully prepared for this. So I know that my problems are very minimal in comparison to that of so many, especially those of you and people in Texas. So my heart goes out to anyone dealing with that. But this week for me as a business owner and a mom of two young children, obviously we've had blinks in power and no school. So this was originally supposed to be my children's winter break, and we had planned a mini trip and I had planned vacation time. And then when they pushed our school year due to COVID, they took this week away, and that was fine. So I canceled all those plans, and now my kids have only been in school half a day this week. And so it's kind of like we could have been somewhere sort of tropical, and I could have had this plan to not be productive this week. So I think it's really just juggling all of that and the mental stress that comes with that. All of us wanting to hold our commitments and be available to all those people, either in our family or in our businesses, with our clients, whatever it is, and be present for them and be what they need. But we have to be what we need for ourselves first. And so for me, skipping workouts or not eating well, or not even getting enough sleep is just non-negotiable, especially in weeks like this, because I get crabby and I get short and my patience are thin if I do. And so knowing that about yourself, I think, is really important, like where your threshold is, and knowing when you just can't say yes any longer, and making sure that you still prioritize whatever wellness, fitness, health looks like for you. So just making sure that you prioritize that.
Yeah, I love that. So eloquent. In all of the places that I couldn't catch my own words today, certainly you have kind of shared a really important thing to be mindful of as we're going through so many crazy things right now. So for those that don't know, I'm in Texas right now, and we've, have been experiencing kind of crazy weather, crazy power outages, lack of water, etc. this week. So my heart goes out to anyone in sort of the Texas area and region who's experiencing that. But I think to Katie's point, just really recognizing what's important, both in terms of work, but in terms of your own personal health and wellness, is important. Taking stock in that and knowing what you can compromise and knowing what you can't compromise, and sort of relying on your colleagues and team members to help fill in the blanks, I think is an important part now. I've had so many people checking in on us. We actually are going to be moving from our home into a hotel for the weekend, just to sort of have some clean water, to get showered, all of those things to get cleaned up. You sort of underestimate how important it is to sort of just, be clean and to have clean clothes every couple of days. So we'll be doing that to take care of ourselves. We've not had the opportunity to sort of be outside as much as we normally would be, just because of the cold and temperatures and ice and whatnot. But over the next week or so, the temperatures will be climbing. And so we're excited to get back outside as well. So anyway, that's a little bit about what's going on here. Sort of flooded kitchen, turned off water. And surprised, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised when I canceled that yoga last night, because I was like, I just can't do this thing right now. Just like not something that I'm interested in, right? So sometimes our own mental health is an important part of this equation. But Angela, it's so great to see you back. It's been a couple of weeks. Tell us where you've been, what sort of you've been up to, and maybe a little bit about these health priorities while you were on your recent vacation.
Yeah. So Michigan, hey, like Katie said, we're a snow state. We're used to this stuff. Back in October, I planned a trip with my family to go to Disney over our midwinter break, and it was a 5-day break. My son would have missed one day of school, but the day we were preparing to travel, we had this, crazy weather, this big blizzard, snowstorm, 6 to 10 inches, whatever. So I'm frantically calling a girlfriend of mine to give her instructions on where the key is, and will you move my husband's car out of the alley so they can plow, and calling another friend to say, hey, send your kids over and just shovel for me so the mail person can get by, so all of that is not even, doesn't even touch the craziness happening, to Aaron and the rest of the Texans and, people in the South who aren't even used to this kind of thing. But gosh, it was nice to be away, and it was nice to be in the sun and not have to think about a jacket and not have to think about, any of the winter things that we've been thinking about. So it was really nice to get away. I was definitely, worried about travel, but everything was fine. And everything kind of felt sort of normal while we were away. It was nice. We haven't dined out even since Michigan lifted the ban on dining in. So we got to eat in restaurants, and it was just nice. Disney's got quite a bubble over itself, and, all of the rules are being followed as far as, frequent hand washing and, using your mask and keeping it up over where it's supposed to be. And, so that was really great. But, when you're, I don't know, some of you know that I've been doing a 20-minute elliptical thing just to keep moving and listening to a good podcast. And I had to let that go for a few days because there was no elliptical easily available to me. But it was a good trip. And sorry, I'm losing my light here. It was a good trip. I was glad that we got away. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of my health priorities while I was gone. You're talking about Katie, and both Aaron and Katie already have talked about compromise and not wanting to compromise, certain things related to our health and wellness, even in crazy extreme situations. So for me, I definitely prioritize sleep over just about everything else while I was away. So got lots of walking in, good food, not enough water, but sleep happened. So it was a good trip.
Nice.
That's good. Well, and like you mentioned not being able to do the elliptical, but I mean, just like the walking around Disney is intense. And I know that when we did that around Thanksgiving time, we certainly got a lot of steps in.
Yeah, it was about 17,000 was my average over the park days. Even my first travel day was like 15,000 steps. So it was good.
Awesome.
I'm way low now, but that's okay.
Well, Jim, we want to bring you into this conversation as well. So welcome, of course, to the show this week. First, let's check in with just how are you guys faring? How are you guys doing? Have you been seeing the weather at all or not as much?
It's just, I feel like we're in Seattle right now. I mean, North Carolina has been just rainy, just unbelievably rainy I swear, it feels like it's been like December now. But no, unlike the rest of the country, I feel like we've been right around that 33, 34 degrees and rainy the whole time. I'd almost rather it be snowing. But yeah, it's getting kind of frustrating because, I'm trying to, because of just my limited ability to work out intensely like I have been, I've been kind of relying on getting out walking and biking and things like that. And that's been pretty much off the table. I mean, over the past week or so. So it's getting frustrating. I'm ready to get outside and need some fresh air.
So, and I think, Jim, that I think as a result, or maybe partially because you've not been able to get outside as much, I know that you're kind of thinking about a plank challenge, or you're working on a plank challenge. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll tell us a little bit more about that. I see the corners of your mouth kind of upturned. So, tell us about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so pretty much since December, I've been doing some sort of challenge. Whether it's been December, I did a push-up or squat challenge, did like 50 a day for the month, and then January I did a push-up challenge where I did 25 a day, and then each time I've been continuing to do those. So I'm still doing the squats, still doing the push-ups, but then lo and behold, February becomes plank challenge, and so yeah, you don't realize how intense a plank is until you're like, I mean, the first we did
about planks.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I've been doing this thing where like we did like, one week was 1 minute. The second week was a minute and a half. The third week was 2 minutes. And then the fourth week supposed to be 2.5 minutes. So I was doing okay the first or second week, but this week has been brutal. I mean, I don't know what it is about a 2-minute plank. I mean, you wouldn't think 2 minutes would be that intense, but you forget about how beneficial planks are in terms of like your core and just muscle definition, giving you better posture, balance. I mean, there's just so many things that are just so good about them, and even just in a 2-minute burst. So, not really sure. I'm looking forward to next week's 2.5 minute one.
Oh my gosh.
Katie, why don't you jump in on here? I know that you have been for quite a while now kind of sharing with us some workout ideas in the Healthy by Association community. And I see, as sort of Jim talks about planks, you nodding, and I know that I often see them sort of creep into your workout plans as well. Tell us maybe a little bit more about kind of your thoughts around them, and if there are other, maybe even some modifications that people might put into place if they're not able to do planks, or other ways, I guess, to engage their core.
Sure. Having a strong core is extremely important, especially if you have back issues. So a strong core will help support your back and your spine, which is really, you think about it, like the hub of your entire body. I mean, all of our limbs spur off of, your core. So just having a really strong core is extremely important, and planks are really great for that. I probably do planks daily, if not, a couple of times a week, depending on what workout or what stretching I'm doing. But it really important. A harder plank is going to be from your forearms. So that would be like what they would call a low plank. And if you want to take that down a notch, you can always go up to your hands. So a high plank is a little bit easier. It seems counterintuitive, but it actually is. Being up on your hands, you don't have to work quite as hard with your core. You can always drop to your knees too, and as long as you hold a solid core. So if you are doing that 2 or 2.5 minute plank and you're just not sure if you're going to make it, but you want to continue, drop to your knees for a minute, just hold onto your core, keep a flat back, and then pop back up to your toes when you can. So those are some of my suggestions. If you are feeling sassy and you want to make them harder, side planks for your side obliques is intense and very hard, but you can do those, from your stacked feet and, one hand on the ground, one hand up. And you can do plank rotations, which would be to drop that hand down and under your core when you're in that side plank. There's lots of great different types of planks you can do, but definitely just starting with that basic plank is a good place to start.
Awesome. So as we pivot into some of your topics for today, Katie, one of the things that I know that you were willing to talk with us about was just how to kick off a health journey. And I'm just kind of curious, like, if people are just getting started or need an entry point to begin a health journey, what might that look like for folks?
Sorry, I have a little one with me today. It's that week, so
yeah,
bear with me. Yeah, kicking off a journey is just starting somewhere. I think, like we've already discussed, challenges are a really great place to start. So giving yourself one thing to focus on, and also remembering that a health journey is just as much in the kitchen as it is in the gym. I think a lot of people who want to lose a few inches or get a little bit stronger forget about the kitchen. They're like, I'm going to start running, or I'm going to do planks, or I'm going to do squats, or I'm going to do push-ups. I'm going to make it to the gym every day for an hour. But they forget that 75% of what they need to do is actually in their kitchen. So finding a good balance between what you're putting in your body and what you're doing with your body is the best thing to do.
Jim, you've spent some time talking with us about sort of meal prepping and sort of planning your nutrition. And I'm just kind of curious, how's that going for you? Like, what are things in particular that you've been focused on to, not only get good nutrition in during this time of year, but to, really stay focused on what you're eating?
Yeah. So, I think the big thing, again, it goes down to the meal planning, the preparation, just spending, Sundays are always usually my day to, plan out the meals for the week, for my lunches, to prep them for the week. Because, at least I know that I'm getting a balanced, every day I'm getting a balanced lunch that I can at least, have every day. Meal planning, same for the dinner time, is the same deal. I mean, it's just so crucial to do that. And then I think, one of the things I try to focus on too is, because like with everybody, especially if you're, especially for those who are working from home more often than not nowadays, is thinking about healthy snacks to have around the house, whether it's, just almonds or, dried fruit or, I like to eat dried plantains, for example. There's some great snacks that you can just snack on that are, my thing is crunchy things. So it's like, as opposed to eating potato chips, it's thinking of those things that you can snack on that are fulfill the need of something else that might have been something that you would have normally snacked on that's bad for you. So those are probably some of the big things I think, just the prepping and everything, just making sure you have that balanced. At least for breakfast and lunch, they're crucial planned out. So,
yeah. Angela, how have you guys been? I know that with the restaurant and stuff, hours are kind of crazy and different. And obviously, mealtime and meal prep is an important part of home life as well. With Bradley in school, I don't know if he's virtual or at home now. How have you guys been focusing on meal prep and food prep for your family?
My philosophy has been that I'm home, so I don't need to prep, and that hasn't been serving me well at all. So this, I say like within the last month, like start of the new year, I was really more like, okay, what are a couple of things we can have that are going to be, that I can kind of bulk prep and have ready for dinners. Like a chili or a sheet pan chicken with veggies, or, something like that we can both eat for a couple nights a week. Bradley was in school in January until like 3 weeks ago, and then he got sent home because of an outbreak at the school. So through this whole winter break, he has been home, and I actually have just kept him home for a few days after vacation, just to make sure that he doesn't get sick and doesn't spread anything if he did. He's fine, and I'm just erring on the side of caution, as you do. So that's been fine. As far as like family meals, unfortunately, Scott loves takeout. And it's not even from our own restaurant that we normally get takeout, but it's usually pizza or ribs from this place we like, or that kind of thing. So it's not always like the best stuff. And even lately I've been like, just get for you guys and I'll eat what I was planning to eat. So I'm really trying to stick to my personal guns and make sure that, we have some good options when, we're not getting takeout. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Hard,
No, I was just gonna say we've been pretty. It's strange. You would think that maybe we were having a hard time with like food. I mean, we have a house full of food, and we've just been like making our stuff. Like all of the dishes are sort of piling it up because we can't really like wash them or clean them well right now. So Trevor's like, "Are we really like making that or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, like who cares? Like why not? Like let's make the stuff. Who cares? I don't know. I
That's right.
It's like it's so weird to not be able to like clean your dishes and all that stuff, but we've just been letting it pile up and kind of eating our normal meals. And I don't know, like I feel like at least that part has been somewhat normal in our life and our routine, but just having access to, I think, good food and being able to prepare it yourself is an important part of that process. And we normally get like 2 or 3 meals out of whatever it is we're making, so we haven't been ordering out a lot still, but I suspect that might change over the next couple of days here.
Yeah.
Jim, so I know that you've been recovering in terms of being able to work out, and I know that the rain hasn't really allowed you to do a lot of things outside. Do you do any like at-home workouts or anything in your home, or have you been sort of workout bound because of not being able to be outside more and with your group?
Yeah, I've been trying to do. I try to do in addition to this little workout challenge that I'm doing. I try to incorporate at least, and it's not a lot, but it's about 20 to 30 minutes a day of some sort of whether it's some sort of ab work, leg work, upper body. Doing some sort of, my big thing is probably I'm really missing out on the cardio piece. I mean, that's probably the one thing, especially with not being able to get out and walk and bikes. But yeah, no, I'm trying to sort of adapt and find some things that I can do. Stretching, I've been trying to focus on a lot of stretching and things like that I can do to try to help alleviate some of the pain that I'm having, so that hopefully I can get back out and start returning to running again, and that'll at least some of the stretching is hopefully going to help mend things once I can get back out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. For folks that, as we prepare to wind down today, I just want to thank Katie Riggs for joining us. She obviously had to fall off because she had a little one who was having a little bit of a temper tantrum in the background, which we totally understand. We knew that it was sort of a non-traditional panelist from the beginning because she had to join from her car, right? So we all know that we're all operating under extreme circumstances right now, but certainly want to thank her for joining us. I do want to do sort of a round robin. We haven't done this in a while, a round robin before we are done for today. Just what is the thing that we're going to look forward to and be mindful to this weekend? We'll remember that the Healthy by Association Weekly Wellness Check started early on during the pandemic last year, I guess almost a year ago at this point, where we were asking people to intentionally think about, what was going on in their health and wellness journey over the course of the week, whether it be at work or at home, realizing that we were all being inundated with things that we could not control in so many circumstances, but that if we allowed sort of our health and wellness to get swept up based upon things we couldn't control, that we would be creating a cycle that we just wouldn't break, and that wouldn't be healthy and wouldn't sustain us over the long run. And so these opportunities to remind ourselves on Fridays midday to sort of press pause, to look forward to the weekend, to reflect on the week that we just had, and to identify maybe one intention for the weekend, something that would focus on our own health and wellness, and maybe break that cycle and really tee us up in a very successful way for the upcoming week. So we haven't done that in a while, and seeing as we have just a few minutes left, I'd like to do that now. Angela, I'll come to you first and just kind of ask you, what is your health and wellness intention for the weekend ahead?
I'm going to spend some time in the kitchen. We did a quick shop like when we got back from our trip on Wednesday, but I realize I need a few more things to, get us into the next week. So I'm going to do a little freezer and pantry inventory and see if there's anything that I don't need to shop for, and just get a couple of fresh things. But I was able to, prep up some celery and cucumbers and a couple of salady items, and hard-boiled some eggs for a couple of lunches this week. So we're in good shape, but we'll see, make a plan, actually, like a written down plan for the weekend.
Nice. Jim, how about you?
Well, so hopefully it's supposed to be somewhat nice this weekend. At least it's going to be sunny anyway. I think it's still going to be kind of cold, but at this point I'll take sunny and dry over anything. So, my big intention is just going to be trying to get outside and bike some, or just get outside and just walk. I think that's the thing that, it's amazing how much, and I know, Angela, you could attest to this too. I mean, it's the mental health that accompanies getting out and walking. Just getting,
Yes.
It doesn't have to be intense, but just getting out and walking for 4 or 5 miles and throwing on your music. And, I've been talking with some buddies about doing some rucks again. So I'm hoping over the next few weeks, as things start getting nicer, maybe doing some more rucking a little bit. Because again, that's low impact, but it's also, great exercise. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, I think, you talked about health and wellness, your mental health, and I think that's really what's top of mind for me this weekend as we, again, sort of move out of our home for a few days, just to get showered and just reset mentally in terms of, be in a good place, kind of reconnect with some friends, reconnect with some family, and just kind of enjoy some time away from the house and just come back to all the stuff next week, right? And so hopefully the temperature will be warming up here as well. We'll be able to get outside and be active again as well, which I think is helpful. It's never great when you're sort of bound at home, right? Because you can't get out because of the weather and the ice and the snow and all that good stuff. So that's certainly top of mind for me this weekend. Again, I want to thank Katie Riggs for joining us. I want to thank both you, Jim, and Angela as well for joining us this week. Thanks so much for being here with us. This has been another episode of Healthy by Association. Next week, we promise to have it more together. But until then, please remember to power your life with health, wellness, and intention. Have a good weekend, everyone.